Hey guys, skill-based matchmaking is in Dead by Daylight now, and people, they're a little bit sweaty, aren't they? People definitely have something to prove, and that's okay. It's not uncommon for survivors to run DS Unbreakable, Dead Hard, Iron Will, Borrowed Time, and it's not really uncommon to see killers that run Ruin Undying, even Tinkerer, Pop in case they lose that, Corrupt, whatever perks you hate. I don't know, man. But it's not uncommon to see these perks, and it's okay. People can run whatever they want. It's a video game. It's kind of silly to get upset about that, but the point is, you might be bringing these perks, and you might be getting higher MMR, and maybe you're getting to a point where these games are close. Like, it comes down to the wire, dude. I don't know. The point is, sometimes you just need a few extra seconds to keep the killer from getting back to that gen to use pop in time. Sometimes you need a few extra seconds for your buddy to finish 99 in the gate. There's so many circumstances where there's so much pressure, and just running around a tree can change the game, I swear to you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you do like tutorials like this, liking and subscribing is completely free, and it helps me a ton, like literally a ton. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Before we get into some examples, I should explain that when I say the edge of the map, what I really mean is how to waste time with objects that are not resources. Things like trees and rocks, and like even the little walls at the edge of the map. The point of the things we're going to talk about is just to waste a few extra moments than you would if you just kept running. And in some cases, you'll find that doing these things will actually sometimes help you get to another loop. The first way to waste some extra time is just to hug uniquely shaped objects as close as you can. When you run around an object and you hug it very close, the killer basically has to do the same thing, and it's not like an open tile where they can cut you off. It's not like you're running and then you realize you need to turn and they can cut you off. It makes sure that the killer can only run one speed, and it is just following you around the object. The thing is, this seems to work the best when the object has a lot of turns. If it's not round and if it's not flat for too long, but when it's flat and then there's a turn and then it's flat and then there's a turn, it makes it so that there's lots of opportunities for the killer to bump into the corner by cutting it too close or turning too soon, or they'll still lose distance if they go too wide, trying to avoid the corner. Of course, as Survivor, you have the same issue, but with a little bit of practice, you can hug corners basically perfectly. It's not really that hard. The secret to hugging corners, in my experience, is to hold one direction and only turn your screen when you turn. The thing is, when you try to turn your Survivor and your screen at the same time, it can just be a little bit more confusing. So if you need more tips, we've already done a whole video on things like this, so I'll link that in the top right of the screen and also in the description below. The next thing you can do is use trees or really anything to break the line of sight with the killer and make a tiny bit of distance. Killers are greedy for distance, they kind of have to be. So when you go behind a tree and instantly turn away from it, you get a few extra steps in, and a lot of the time the killer takes a few extra steps away to go around the tree the opposite direction. And sometimes in areas with a lot of trees, the killer might not see that you switch trees, or sometimes they'll swing around the tree expecting you to be on the other side when actually you made a couple of steps further, so they end up missing. It's not much, but it's actually funny how often you can do things like this on trees and get away with it. So when you have nothing else, it can be good to use trees. Now this next tip that I kind of already showed you some of uses the same idea that killers sometimes greed for distance, and you can abuse that. When going behind an object that you know the killer is going to run around the other side of, sometimes you can stop before the edge and the killer will think you doubled back and turn around themselves. So as soon as they turn around, you start running straight again, and this gets you so much distance. And if you ever watch me on Twitch, you'll see that when I get in desperate situations, I do this a lot. This and the tree jukes, really I do a lot of, so. Oh! Did you do that intentionally?
No.
Of course, if the killer has ears, sometimes this might not work out so well, but I mean, hey, these are like desperate situations, So anyway. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I know you were probably expecting me to talk about Z-walls, but I really wanted to make the video about mind games that you can do on completely useless objects. And while Z-walls are pretty dog shit, it's basically just a 50-50. It's like either vault the window or don't. Like there's no developed mind game that I can really share for Z-walls. But anyway, I've been taking a little bit of a break from Twitch, and I've been experimenting with different streaming settings that not only my potato PC can handle, but that my internet provider can handle. So hopefully I'll be back to streaming soon. And other than that, I hope to see you in the next one. Later.